Good morning. It is Tuesday, August 30th, as we near September. County Board of Commissioners are now in session. Commissioner Tony Vero, joined by Commissioner Daryl Banks, our clerk Stacy Crawl, Wendy Dillingham from Sebco. No, you got to come up to the table.
I know.
We have Snoopy in Woodstock and Media Land. We do have Alan Carl from the media, and then we have someone else remotely. Really need to know who you are just so we can identify you for the public minutes. So if you could maybe
this is Shaggy.
Who?
It's Greg from WMFD.
Oh, okay, Greg, who no longer wants to come and see us in person. Wow, that hurts. That hurts.
Call him Al.
Yeah, so it's we'll call him Al Jr. for today. So with that being said, Wendy, take it away.
Okie doke. I'm here to bring you your second quarter reports, and the time frame that we're looking at, that we're running 12 July 1st, 2021 through June 30th, 2022. And this will be the time frame that your renewal will be based on. The renewal meeting is Friday, and it's virtual. So we ask you to join. I believe there is a registration, but you can individually register, or if you want to watch it in a room together. We also would encourage you to maybe ask heads or other elected officials, let them know that they're welcome. We will go over how the renewal has been calculated and also information related to Sebco for the next year. That said, let's look at your second quarter report. You're running 12 months loss ratio, which this will be the amount or the area that your renewal is based on, is 98.1% for medical, 111.5% for prescription, and 101.2 when you put them together. And your dental loss ratio is 79.9%. And then if we look at the 6-month period of time, which would be January through the end of June, your loss ratio is 91.7%. For medical, 94.3 for prescription, 92.3 when you put them together, and 92.8 on dental. And what I will say with dental is sometimes the reason it may be a little higher when you're looking at just a period of time is maybe the majority of your employees are doing things in the first 6 months of the year. You're not doing them later in the year, and then it sort of evens out. These loss ratios do include any large claimants that are above your pooling point that might be removed based on the pool absorbing it. And if you go to the back of the reports that I've given you, there are 2 pages that look like this. The first one that shows the paid claims, that's broken down month by month, what's been paid in claims for Richland County under medical, what's been paid for claims under prescription, together what's been paid, and dental what's been paid. And then you look below and you look at the billed premium, you can see what you paid in premium. So that kind of gives you an idea where the loss ratio is coming from. For example, under the prescription, 2.1 million has been paid in claims, and you paid 1.9 million in your premium for that. So just kind of giving you, when you combine the medical and prescription together, you paid 8.7 million, or we paid 8.7 million in claims, and you paid 8.5 million in premium. So we're paying more out in claims than you're paying in premium. Then if you go to this next page that has—
What that means, Daryl.
I know what it means.
You go to this page and you look here, you're looking at the large claimants. And so you have a number of large claimants that are above your 125,000 pooling point. And as soon as you get above that 125,000 pooling point, the pool absorbs that for you. So
For the time being. And then your premiums get adjusted, right?
well, your premium is relevant to what your loss ratio is. So that said, I'm not going to tell you exactly what your renewal is going to be. But I will tell you that the spread for our counties in the program of the 42 is a 0% renewal up to a 13%. And you fall kind of in the middle. So the medical trend that we're using is 6.9, and you fall right around where it is to get.
Makes sense because we're close to the polling point. So you would figure we're gonna be a little higher, right?
Right. To give you an idea of where you've stood over previous years, your 2019 renewal was a minus 0.4%. Your 2020 renewal was a minus 1.2%. Your 2021 renewal was a minus 2.1%. And your last year renewal was a 0%. So things do go in cycles. You've had some pretty really outstanding years. It's probably pretty normal that you're not going to be getting that low a renewal. You're probably having some claims tick up, and it just, things go in cycles. So just wanted to remind you of the good years that you've had of significantly low renewals. Even with what we're going to be giving you, that's lower than out there medical trend that's in the general public. When I'm talking medical trend of 6.9, that's Subco's medical trend, not what's out in the general world. Okay, then looking at your demographics. You have 216 employees who are enrolled in employee only. You have 89 members that are enrolled in employee spouse coverage for 178 members. You have 145 members that are employee plus child or children coverage for 418 members. You have 96 employees that are enrolled in family coverage for 382 members. So your average enrollment during this period of time for employees is 545, and for overall members, 1,194. And then just breaking down and looking at your demographics a little bit more, 53.2% of your membership is female, 46.8% of your membership is male. The average female employee age is 48 years, and the average male employee age is 45 years. And if we flip to the next page, just looking at a snapshot of your medical and pharmacy paid claims amount, $152.40 is the per member per month cost for medical, and $153.59 is the per member per cost for prescription. You put that together and it's $605.99 per member per month. If you're breaking it down into that smaller group of employee number, the per employee per month medical is $990.93. The per employee per month is prescription is $336.43. And together it's $1,327.36. 97.8% of your claims were in network. The total medical paid amount for this time period of July 1st, 2021 through July 30th was $6.4 million. At the same time period a year ago, the total medical spend was $5.3 million. Total pharmacy paid claims for this current period is $2.1 million. This is $100,000 more than the same period a year ago. We go to the next page. We're looking at graph of where the claim dollars have been spent. The lighter blue is the current time period of July 1st, 2021 through June 30th, 2022. The darker blue is the same time frame a year ago, and the lighter green is the same time frame 2 years ago. So you can see that your inpatient is up from what it was a year ago, but down significantly from what it was 2 years ago. Your outpatient is a little bit greater than a year ago and a little bit greater than 2 years ago. Your professional is pretty close to where it was a year ago and more than it was 2 years ago. And when you put them together, your pharmacy, or when you look at the pharmacy, your pharmacy is running right where it was a year ago, but a little bit more than where it was 2 years ago. So it just kind of drops it into perspective. And then if we break that down into the per member per month, your inpatient facility is $107.36. Your outpatient is $207.20, and your professional services are $137.84. And that is what is making up that $605.99. And then looking at demographics a little bit more with the pie charts, 45.7% of your enrollment is employees, and they make up 46% of your claims. 15.5% of your enrollment is spouses, and they make up 38.8% of your claims. And 38.9% of your enrollment are children, and they make up 15.2% of your claims. And that's fairly typical. unless you have a sick child, children don't make up many of your claims. And then looking at member distribution. And one of the reasons I've dropped this in is bands of membership will cost more in claims. So we pay attention to where your membership falls. The male age band of 15 to 24 is your largest percentage of your membership. And the female age band of 55 to 64 is the next largest percentage of your membership. 58% of Richland County's membership have claims less than $1,000 for this time frame, and 13% of your membership have claims under $2,000 for this time frame. Then we're looking at page 5 now, and we're looking at your high claimant. For the purpose of this report, Anthem has designated high claimant as 50,000, while your pooling point is 125. Just as a reminder, you don't have to have had something really significant to have a $50,000 claim. It can be an overnight stay in the hospital. It can be a knee replacement. I mean, $50,000 is nowhere near what it used to be as far as a high claim. Your high claimants make up 45.2% of your dollar spend for this time period. They make up 2.9% of your membership, and you had 35 members that had claims over 50,000. The total medical spend for the high claimants was 2.9 million out of the 8.6 million. Total prescription for high cost claimants was 976,000. And if we go to the next page, we're going to just briefly look at the pharmacy. I've given you some more detail here on this. One of the things I do feel like I need to say about pharmacy, because the cost is just prohibitive on a lot of these, what we do need to realize is a lot of pharmacy spend is cost shifting over the years. It's shifting it into a pharmacy where it maybe used to be in a medical. You have people that might have been hospitalized with some of these diagnoses, and now they're able to live a normal life based on a pharmaceutical. Your top medication by dollar spend is for Humira CF, and that is used to reduce pain and swelling due to certain types of arthritis. And the CF means it's a citrate-free, meaning it's a smaller needle, and it's is less likely to sting when it's administered. And these are all specialty meds, 30-day spend. So for a 30-day spend, the Humira is $5,261. Your next top dollar spend is for Promacta, and it's used to treat adults and children 1 year and older with low blood platelet counts due to persistent chronic immune ITP, when other medicines to treat the ITP or surgery to remove the spleen have not worked well enough. A single prescription or a 30-day supply is $10,282. A lot of the medications we see on everybody's, we see Humira on every county, we see Stelara, we see Trulicity. Some of the others are more specific to cancer treatment. Your top medications by dollar spend make up 51.8% of your total prescription spend. They represent 224 scripts out of your total 13,829. Total prescription for this time period was 2.1 million. The average cost when we're looking at all of the prescriptions, all 13,829, is $159 per script. If you remove the top 224, the average cost is $78. The average cost per prescription for the top 224 prescriptions is $5,090. And then another little overview of your prescriptions on page 7. That green in the pie chart, that represents 11,363 of your prescriptions that are generic, that are purchased at retail. So your membership, if there's a generic available, they're taking the generic. They're not taking a brand. So your membership really is doing what they can to cost save. The people that are on the high dollar, those are probably keeping them out of the hospital and allowing them to have a normal life. If we go to the next page, we're looking at your top, and this is page 8, top health conditions paid dollar amount, and this is for medical. And I only show this to you about once a year so you can see where the dollars are being spent. The number one diagnosis for dollars is musculoskeletal system. That's pretty consistent with most of our counties. That's if you're having anything done on your back, your knees, your hips, your arms, whatever. The next top dollar spend is neoplasms for cancer. And the third is health status, which is preventive services. So nothing on here is particularly alarming. I do want you to go down a little bit toward the middle and see the COVID-19 that is listed on there. We did have 151 claimants that had claims with a COVID-19 diagnosis. Inpatient, 194,000, outpatient, and these are facility,
Rescue
5,340.
Plan Act allows you to reimburse for COVID claims, so we're looking at that.
Mhm.
We're gonna do it. We're just looking at doing it proportionally for between general fund and non-general fund, and that's where we're looking at the best way to do it.
Well, your total dollar spend for COVID using inpatient, outpatient, professional is 210,000 for this time frame. So if you need it broken down, I mean, there's certain timeframes that you're allowed to use it.
Right.
We can get you additional reports.
Yeah, you guys have been sending that. Andrew's been working with Zebco and CCAO on that, so we're gonna do that.
CCO lets you know the legalities. We give you the dollars.
We kind of want you. You have the dollars.
Page 9, we're looking at your facilities. Your number one facility for utilization and dollar spend is Ohio Health Mansfield, not surprising. Number 2 is Avita, Ontario. Number 3 is Mount Carmel, New Albany Surgery Center. And what's that very much relates to the musculoskeletal being on there is New Albany Surgical Center is where most people are, even in this general area. If they're sending people for a knee replacement or a hip replacement, seems to be that destination is that New Albany Surgical Center, right around the corner from my condo. Then outpatient, Ohio Health Mansfield, number 1 utilized by dollar and spend for outpatient. Avita, Ontario, number 2 utilized. And then if we flip it over to look at the discount savings, and what I do want to call your attention to is there are 2 lines to this report. It's the in-network and out-of-network, and there are for all of the other categories. So for inpatient, your overall discount is 4.8%. You can see you had an out-of-network inpatient hospitalization of 8,152, and there is 0 discount there. And that is because Anthem was not notified ahead of time on this, so they could not get in and negotiate a discount on it. On your outpatient, you notice you also have an out-of-network. On this particular situation, they were notified. The situation has to do with substance abuse. There was not outpatient available for the person. So Anthem negotiated, got them able to seek care at a non-network, and were able to negotiate a 36.2% discount. The professional services on the one below, you can see there's 579 non-network charges, and Anthem was able to reduce that. And that is related to the same situation for a 77.9% discount. So your overall discounts, inpatient, outpatient, professional is 43% with Anthem. And we are very grateful that Anthem steps in on those non-network situations and negotiates if they can to get a discount arrangement.
What do you let them, what do you mean, like, for the out-of-network for the inpatient? I mean, how would a employee notify?
Well, that was probably an emergency situation that they went. So there probably is no reason to notify, but pre-certification is required on any hospitalization. That actually occurred after the fact, but if they were pre-certifying ahead of time for an admission, or even at the time, Anthem will step in and try to negotiate to see if they can't get a discount off of what the charge is.
Big ceiling, I always call it. Oh, we'll charge you this, but okay, we'll negotiate down to this. I always call it the big ceiling, medical world.
And they got a better discount where we weren't members when we were.
Budget $8 billion, but since you have insurance, well, medical world.
Any questions on anything?
My math, Stacy, just for ballpark figures, and I could be wrong, is I think our general fund, and listening to the increase on the general fund expenses will probably be another $400,000. I could be right, I could be wrong, but just looking at it, Looking at a 7.5% increase, I think we'll come in at about 3.8, 3.9 this year, general fund.
Be a little below 7.5.
Oh, I like to be on the conservative side, so let's say it's 7%. So that's what I'm sort of looking at. We'll be around that 4.1, 4.2 next year, I think.
On the renewal documents that you'll receive, hold the renewal meeting at 10 o'clock and it's virtual. Following the renewal meeting, we will be sending out the documents to you by secured email so that you have them. If you have any questions on anything in them, you can contact me. We'll arrange an appointment. You can have an appointment with me. You can have an appointment with an Aon actuary to explain anything if you need any further explanation on how the renewal was calculated. But they do a pretty good job on the actual virtual meeting of going through how it was calculated, what came into play, those types of things. So if you're available Friday at 10 o'clock, you click on the link, and we did decide to hold it virtually this year. And that really has nothing to do with COVID or anything. It really has to do with trying to be respectful of people's time of
Makes sense to do virtually.
driving to Columbus for a 45-minute meeting when you have people that, I mean, we have counties, Ashtabula, Williams, Scioto, that it's a 3-hour drive for them. So that would be 6 hours round trip for a 45-minute meeting. It really doesn't make sense.
Agree with that.
Snoopy, Woodstock, any questions?
Yeah, Tony, go over again, what percentage of increase do you think it's going to be for the renewal for next year?
I'm guesstimating 7%. Wendy will tell us what it'll cost us more. What do you think,
Any-
Wendy?
On Friday, I'll tell you.
Oh,
And that translates to about $400,000 to the general fund, Tony?
Well, again, Carl, I don't have year-end figures, so I'm estimating, and then I'm estimating on top of the estimating. So I'm tell Brittany to quiet down back there, will you?
I'm presuming, looking at it, we'll come in at around 3.8, 3.9 in general fund premiums to health care. And then you just bump it up 7%. That's how I got to that figure.
And we're gonna find out. Sure.
Friday.
On Friday, we'll tell you exactly what additional you'll owe us in 2023 over what you paid us in 2022.
7 close.
Wendy's not gonna say.
That's a head nod, Carl.
Okay, Wendy, when you look across all of the counties that are part of the consortium, what can you tell me about the total claims versus premiums that were paid by the members of the consortium?
Well, that's actually part of the report. Let me go and pull that page. Well, he's talking about what was paid. This page, we give you yours, but we also give the total Subco overall. So on medical, Subco overall received 14.6 million. Oh, that's over 168.5 million in premium. And we paid out 175.8 million in medical claims. Prescription, we received 40.2 million in premium on prescription, and we paid up 46.1 million. So you put those together, we received 208.8 million in premium for both medical and prescription, and we paid out 222 million. So the pool has absorbed significant, but also we have stop loss in there, that we carry stop loss for claims over a certain dollar amount that stop loss pays us and reimburses us if we have a single claimant that goes over. So that's all calculated into when we calculate what your premium is to Subco, there's the amount that actually is for claims. And then into that, there's administrative cost. And the administrative cost is what we pay Anthem to pay our claims for us, what we pay stop loss for the premium, and what you pay me for my salary to show up here.
Right, it's everything.
So
Okay, thank you.
Al, any questions?
Yeah, I just want to make sure what period all these figures were for. Was this July last year to June this year?
Yes, July 1st, 2021 to June 30th, 2022.
That was
We-
about all I had. Go ahead. What were you gonna say?
That is always, for a number of years, that's been our traditional renewal so that we can deliver it and get it to you in September. Because previously we used to do our renewals a little later and it made it a little bit more complicated for counties to make any changes. So we backed it up. But if you remember during COVID, we really backed it up. We made the decision we didn't want to include because we didn't know where we were going. So that renewal that we were doing for 2021, we backed up and we took no claims after February 2021 because we just didn't know what we were going to be experiencing there, or after February of 2020, because we started receiving claims in March of 2020. So when we were calculating the renewal for 2021, we did not want to include any COVID claims that we knew of. So that was a unique time. We tried to protect the counties as much as we could. And the following year, of course, we went back to our normal time frame, and there were a lot of COVID claims in there for a lot of counties. So, but everything seems to have become, COVID claims are not significant at this point. They certainly were last year. And the start of maybe 2022, we had some, but nowhere near what we've been experiencing for the 2 years prior.
Wendy, two quick questions. Richland, I want to kind of focus more on Richland County. You said the premiums paid by the county was 8.5 million. Is that correct?
Go back and look.
And Greg, keep in mind, that's the entire county. That's not general fund. So that would be entities outside of the general fund.
Okay.
Right, we don't divide it out. Yeah, your total billed premium was 8.5 and your total paid claims was 8.7 million.
And that did not include prescription, right? That was just medical.
No, that's medical and prescription together.
That's together? Okay.
Yes, billed premium for
And
medical. For medical alone is 6.6 and for prescription alone is 1.9. And those are 6.6 million and 1.9 million.
I'll just keep them combined there. And then you said the COVID during this time period, total inpatient and outpatient was $210,000. And Tony, you said that, Tony, could you speak more specifically on how that gets reimbursed?
So the Rescue Plan Act allows you for certain dates in your distribution to reimburse your costs for COVID. So we are working with CCAO and SEBCO on the dates and the costs. Last I looked, it was around $562,000, but that's the whole amount for the entire county as well. So Andrew needs to, we're looking at a method so we can distribute it appropriately to those non-general fund agencies as well.
In non-general fund agencies, just from my memory, that would be like child support, JFS, Richland New Hope, are they lumped into that?
No, New Hope's in there.
New Hope's not in there.
Right, that's right.
Plan.
Children's Services is
Health
there.
Department,
Health Department,
mental health.
mental health, child support,
Okay.
JFS. Is the library with them?
No.
No.
CAC, dog.
No, you got CAC, dog warden, wastewater, building codes.
You have a lot of.
Yeah.
Okay, that's all I have.
Anything else, gentlemen? Wendy, as always, thank you.
You're very welcome.
Drive safely, okay?
Yeah, it's a little hydroplaning going on out
Yeah.
All right, we'll move on to our,
Bank up before you came.
I have not been filling my tank in Richland County since my robbery.
terrible. Just a couple quick questions as we move forward to our logistical items on the minutes. Are we sure he says, when the June inflation was 9.1%, it's the highest it has been in 9 years? And wasn't it a lot longer than that factually? I'm just calling anyone's attention to that.
But I wrote down, he said I would have to go ask him if that's,
Maybe he said 49 years. I don't know, just a question. And then I do think we need to add an amendment, just a couple lines down, what says interest rates are at 3%. That's public interest rates. So I will at least make that amendment. So if you're reading it, people can differentiate between what they generally refer to as interest rates for housing and why we're jumping on it as public interest rates are up. So that would be my amendment.
And I will make a motion with those amendments to approve the minutes.
Commissioner Barrow, you have to second.
Second,
Commissioner Barrow,
yes.
Commissioner Banks.
All right, motion to approve requisitions.
So move. Second time.
Second,
Commissioner Barrow,
yes.
Commissioner Banks,
Yes.
Motion to approve month-end transfers and appropriations.
So move.
Second,
Barrow,
yes.
Commissioner Banks,
Yes.
All right, next up, we have a request from the city of Mansfield to allow them to work with a company called Shot Spotter. It's a high-tech camera systems we've seen all across the country, aimed at detecting gunshots. Wish we didn't have to do this, but this is proved to be very effective in reducing gun violence. And it is a technology that identifies with unbelievable precision if there is a gunshot that goes off. There's cameras that immediately hone in on the location of where the gunfire occurred. This is not a cost to the county. This is the city of Mansfield working with Shot Spotter. They have identified a location, which is our Job and Family Services building on 171 Park East. So I will ask for a motion to give the city of Mansfield, and more specifically Shot Spotter, the authorization to place their system on the taxpayers' building.
I will make that motion. I'll just make the comment. My understanding of this is this doesn't go to 911 when the shots are fired. It goes out to everybody that's on duty and they can converge on that area in seconds.
Correct.
So I will make that.
And I will second that.
Commissioner Barrow,
Yes.
Commissioner Banks,
Yes.
Any questions?
Not for me.
Okay, we had our 10:30 canceled, so we will take a somewhat lengthy recess and come back at 10:45. Corner. Okay, it is 10:45. We're back in session. We're joined by Ms. Ritchie and Mr. Ball from the coroner's office. They like to go over statistics every once in a while, just for the public's knowledge. It's good to provide information. I do believe we have Alan Carl. Are they with us?
Correct.
And then we have, if you could identify yourself out there, who's also signed in so we can enter you into the minutes. We're showing a last name of Burks. Okay. Take it away.
So one reason why we wanted to come in here is because there is a day, August 31st, that is identified by all over the country. It is called National Overdose Awareness Day. So we felt in our office at least, it was very important to come in here and let you guys know what's happening in Richland County. So I did some research and found out that everything drug related really started in 1990 with prescription drugs such as hydrocodone, oxycodone. A lot of the prescription drugs were coming into effect. We saw a huge transition within the United States in 2010 when people were transitioning from the prescription drugs to heroin. That's because a lot of times they would get prescribed these controlled substances and it wasn't doing the job anymore. So they went to the streets. They didn't want to pay what the street value was for their controlled substance of choice. So they went to something cheaper, such as heroin. And then in 2013, heroin was not doing the job anymore. So we were introduced to what's called fentanyl. Fentanyl is a synthetic opioid that is very strong and it is supposed to treat some nerve pain. And then according to the Ohio Department of Health, in the United States, 136 people die every day from an overdose. I thought that was very interesting. But we did not see fentanyl until 2016, midsummer to early fall?
No, that was probably August. That's when carfentanil really became, really showed its face here in Richland County. That's when we really got hit hard.
And carfentanil is a lot stronger than fentanyl. Carfentanil is used to put down animals such as elephants. So we were getting to the point where my investigators, Bob and Tom, were getting to the scene and they would see syringes still in arms and it would still be loaded. So I have some not very well prepared statistics, but some statistics. In 2016, we had 64 confirmed overdoses. 2017 was 48 confirmed. 28 was 51. 2019 was 51. 2020 was 64. 2021 was 72. And so far in 2022, we have 31 confirmed with numerous.
That through today?
That was through Thursday last week.
Okay, so that's,
I was on
okay.
Friday and Monday.
That's through 8 months.
Yes, and we have numerous
I've got
unconfirmed.
probably 20, close to 20 that's pending yet.
Yes.
What time?
Fortunately, that would be 47 pending your 20.
Yeah. And we have noticed a significant increase with our cases to where this time last year, we were less than
Well,
double.
we're at 373 cases right now. And last year at this time, that was December.
Yes,
So our cases are just jumping.
yeah,
That's medical cases with no doctors, people being found 10 and 15 days later.
mhm,
It's a gamut of stuff. Problem is when we test, especially after decomposition, once we try to test for it because of decomposition fluids, sometimes we don't get a correct testing, like for drugs, opioids, that type stuff. So unfortunately, it's been a long year. Suicides have slowed down. Suicides have slowed down. I mean, we're at 32, 33 right now.
suicides?
Yeah.
No, not that many.
Oh, okay. All right.
No,
I
not
was saying
that
we were
many.
that high.
I think we're on mid-teens.
No, we're higher.
Like that.
than
Okay. And then you'll notice on the second and third page, there is a new form of drug coming out. I heard from one of the people in the FBI that it is called nitazines. It is so far down in Columbus. And it is stronger than fentanyl. It is stronger than carfentanil. And it is coming with a whirlwind.
Who's making it? China?
Most of your.
China to Mexico across the border?
Yep.
Why would we want to secure the border, Daryl?
But it is being mixed with common prescription drugs such as like muscle relaxers. So typical prescription drugs such as tramadol, Flexeril, methocarbamol. So that's what they're seeing right now. And it is on the hot and heavy towards us. So we luckily, knock on some wood, fake wood, whatever, not seen it yet, but it's coming.
Columbus, it's in Columbus.
It's in
now.
Columbus right now. So
According to the White House spokesman, nobody's walking across the border down there.
You know what I saw this morning on the news at 5:30? I saw them come across the Rio.
Well, no, but
You know, the amazing thing that's changed, that I've noticed a change in it. It used to, when we first started talking about the fentanyl, we would see it laced. Now they're stamping it and it's pure fentanyl.
mhm.
There's nothing else formulated in that. Yeah, it's straight fentanyl now.
So what they think could be a
It
Xanax.
looks like Percocet, Xanax, oxycodone. It's pressed and it looks like Percocet. You take it and you test it. It's
Mhm.
pure fentanyl, nothing else mixed with it.
We still let all first responders know to be extremely careful on scenes because
Especially with the powder, especially with
Yeah,
the powder stuff.
powder is, yeah.
I mean,
Because it can
when I
take them
go on a
down.
scene now, I tie back up. I put a suit on with double gloves. You don't know what you're getting into.
Stop letting you guys come up back here.
I'm sorry. That's
But
okay.
we're making everyone aware that this is what is in our area. Richland
No, it's
County is,
just,
It's sad. It's
It's very
very sad.
sad.
It's very sad to see the deaths that we're having.
yes.
You know, the people, I mean, it's just sad. And it's a growing trend.
Hmm.
I'd love it to slow down a little bit.
Yeah.
You know, we've had 2 or 3 deaths in the last couple of weeks from just 30 with the construction on 30 right now.
Yes.
So
in Rex, actually,
Yeah, the car accidents are horrible.
Oh my gosh, terrible.
a 16-year-old kid a couple of weeks ago
Hmm.
down Peterson Road had a dump truck driver. We don't know what happened to him. We don't know if he fell asleep or, I mean, that was horrible,
Hmm.
horrible.
okay. Any questions from, Al and Carl or the member of the public who's
Yeah,
listening?
if I could, I don't type as fast as I used to. My hands are slowing down. Could you go back through the numbers of confirmed ODs in 16, 17, 18, 19, and 20?
Well, would it be better if I just sent you a copy?
You know what? That works out even better. I
I
appreciate
got
that.
I will
Okay.
get that to you.
All right. I think that's the thing I needed to know most. So when you were talking about that it used to be fentanyl laced and now it's straight. So this is a drug that is sold as a Percocet or oxycodone, and it looks like that, but it's actually 100% pure fentanyl.
That's correct. It was at one time, Carl, where they had fentanyl laced in cocaine. We saw a lot of the cocaine, some heroin. We've even found it in marijuana.
Mhm.
But now it's a pressed pill, makes it look like that pill is Percocet or Xanax, but it's pure fentanyl.
You know, we talk about this as a business, a criminal business, but we never understood killing your customers is good for business, but you can explain that in case people forget why that is.
Well, it appears so far that the addict wants the pure high, that they search for it, go out and search for it.
Mhm.
I mean, it's not that the recovery, I know the mental health board and the recovery group has cautioned their clients, Catalyst, don't buy this stuff out in the street. It's loaded and they still go out and do it.
Mhm. And it's not so much, I mean, yeah, they're killing off their customers, but if that customer survives, they have a promised customer
If they survive.
if they survive, which 9 out of 10 times.
So if someone buys what is being sold as a Percocet, Is there any way, I mean, those that do survive it, are they aware that what they're buying is not Percocet, it's straight fentanyl? And how far away are we from the point where people say, you know what, I don't care, it's pure fentanyl, I want it?
I think they're already there.
I think we're there.
Yeah, we're
They're
there.
already there, Carl. I don't think it's a question of, back in 2016, I don't know if you were at the Richland source, but Kenny Kuntz was the chief of police. So Sheriff Sheldon, Kenny Kuntz, and myself put a public service announcement out that there was car fentanyl in the area, and that this car fentanyl was deadly. I mean, that was a drug that absolutely, I mean, it just knocked them right out. Most of the time, you'd see the needles in their arms. You would see that. So we thought we would do a public service announcement. We ended up having to take that public service announcement off because they were out there searching for this car fentanyl. They were literally going and looking for it. So I don't know if they don't feel like it's going to happen to them if they take it. I mean, that's something you'd have to ask them. I think they come to a point in time in their life, they don't care anymore.
The
Well,
addiction
thanks.
strong.
Yep, thank you. And if you could shoot me those numbers, that'd be greatly appreciated. Thank you.
Will do.
Al, any questions?
No questions. I'd like to have the report too, though, please.
You got it.
About the visitor that's online? Any questions? Okay. Always good to see you guys.
Under bad
I
circumstances.
know, it's like go forth and do your job, but that usually means bad news, or almost always means bad news. So
Yep.
This- Why not close the border? What sense does it make?
It's all coming from the border. It's all this fentanyl is shooting right across the border.
China, and the Mexicans, to our kids. And they're not only kids.
Mhm.
We're very fortunate to have the chemist, as you both know, that we have, Tony Tambasco.
Tony T, it's because he's Italian, right? Italians are
Well,
very.
that's part of it. That's part of it. I mean, it could be.
It's not the primary.
If he had a little clear fork in him, it might even help him better, right? But we're fortunate to have Tony, and Tony's been able to trace through his chemist people, all of them have been able to trace and mark where it's coming from. And it's coming right from China, right into the
Mhm.
border.
Mhm.
That's what I always said. Border security isn't about immigration to me. It's always about safety.
Mhm.
So the Republicans and Democrats can debate proper immigration policies, but to me, it's always been like Daryl said, keeping drugs out of the hands of children and even adults now. It's literally killing Americans. And, I've always said, why would we want that? Guess that's why I'm a lowly commissioner. So,
Yep.
okay, guys. Well, thank you as always for.
Sorry about the bad news.
That's all right. Have a good rest of the week. Thank you. At
So.
10:58, we will adjourn.